Back from the dead. No, we're back from the dead.
I have literally filmed this video probably like 10 times. I started out trying a review. I started trying to sort of go back to what YouTube used to be. And I really like struggled. I couldn't figure out the words to say. I didn't know what was right or what was wrong. And every time I filmed and I'd go back and look at the footage and watch myself, I would feel like empty. I would feel like I didn't say the right thing. I felt like it was never right. My decision was to refilm this and make this video not a paranormal show review, but instead some sort of a review of my path and the journey that's kind of gotten me here. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'll still do some reviews and stuff, but I just felt like the very first initial video needed to be like really raw, stripped down, and not necessarily about Ghost Girl Diaries and what you guys are used to. It needs to be more about me and sort of the person that I've become. To be perfectly honest, I'm like back on my setup, right? Like you see all the old school stuff behind me that you guys are used to seeing. And oddly, it feels very foreign to me. I haven't really sat in this position and presented a video to you guys like this in months. On one side, it feels good to be back and it feels good to remember where my roots are. But on the other side, it feels really good to know I've had so much positive progression since YouTube. So first I have to give you guys a shout out that are watching on Patreon, because if it weren't for you, we wouldn't be doing this series. So thank you so much to my subscribers that are hardcore and here. In fact, today is a milestone. It is the very end of August and we just purchased our very first 4K Canon camera, which is one of the cameras we'll be using for the series. Reviewing myself and sort of looking back on where Ghost Girl started. Like back in the day when I first even came up with the concept of Ghost Girl Diaries, it was just an idea. It was nothing more than an idea, and I had no idea where it was gonna go from there. I knew potentially that I always wanted it to be a series, but I didn't know how I was going to get there. I'd hired and fired and people quit, you know, so many on my journey to this point. And I could never figure out, like, how am I going to get the right people to be a part of this? Like the right people, the right family unit. And even, you know, as I'm going through those processes of hiring and firing and people quitting because they just can't handle, you know, being in the dark alone, then I find my home at YouTube, which is of course initially where I found all of you that are watching right now. You know, when I first started YouTube, I had no idea like where I was gonna go with that. I started YouTube, you know, thank God some of the really OG original videos are gone, because like I think some of you guys would be like, what was she thinking? Like I started YouTube reviews. First I just started talking about haunted locations. Like only my super like original gangster subscribers will remember that. But the reviews on the haunted locations across the United States were places that I had been. And I literally started with just a card table. I had like this really crappy tripod. It was like really thin and flimsy. I had, oh my God, I think I had an off-brand camera. Like it wasn't even a Sony or anything like that. And I set it on the tripod. I had like 2 backgrounds I used, and I had to like save up all my money for it at the time. It was like a sequin background, and then finally I saved up for like a black background. I didn't even have studio lighting. It was so bad. I remember some of the lighting I had in there was like, God, what is it? It's like fluorescent lights. And they made me look like blue and sometimes like green. And I had no idea about color correction, you know, during post-production at the time. I knew like it was just this weird thing, like I needed to put YouTube videos out there. I'd always wanted to do YouTube videos, but I never had that like oomph or the confidence to actually do it. I also was insecure with funding, you know, like how am I gonna afford a camera? I don't even know how to edit. It was before I had a Mac, you know, so I couldn't even like edit on my Mac. And pretty soon I just realized with every video things would get better. Even if it was something like tiny, even if it was like replacing the tablecloth on my card table. And slowly over time, one thing at a time, literally one step at a time, it just kept growing and growing and growing, and people were loving it, and I was getting questions, and I was getting fans, and I was getting people that were like thoroughly enthusiastic and enjoying, you know, discussions about what I've always loved my whole life. I had no idea that it would really lead me in such a positive direction. About this time last year, you know, we started seeing kind of a down decline with YouTube. Our numbers started to slope during about September. And so I like pounded out a ton of videos last October of 2017. I was doing like video constantly. Like I think I was putting out like 2 videos a week. I was doing anything to try to get our numbers back up, and it worked. So I just thought to myself, maybe I need to put in twice as much work. Maybe I'm not doing enough, you know, to put it out there, to get it to people. Maybe I need to do more. Maybe I need to change my tag words. There's something called tag words in YouTube, which are like paranormal, ghost adventures, haunted house. And that's how people find you. So I was experimenting with all kinds of things, but I got tired, you know, like I did that for October, November. I got to go to Zach's museum on Halloween. He let me go into the basement, which was cool with some of my fans. But I had this gut feeling that something wasn't going right, and I was scared. I kept it up though. I kept my game face on. I kept presenting videos to you guys, you know, and we rolled around to January and things just took a halt. That was really hard for me because, you know, in my mind at first, the question was, who am I without Ghost Girl Diaries? Am I someone that people even want to know outside of Ghost Girl Diaries? Like, screw social media. I'm not even talking about that. It's just, what if the channel fails? And it's not my doing, obviously. What happens if the channel fails? What will happen to me? Will I give up and, you know, just go back to working my like typical 9 to 5 and be normal? I freaked out when the channel died. You know, like I've tried to put on this game face, and I think I got through it pretty well over the past few months, but when it first happened, I was scared. I was really scared. I felt like I lost everything. I thought my world was crumbling. I thought I was losing my identity. I thought I was losing my entire purpose. But one of the biggest lessons that I've learned since January, so about 8 months of this same lesson that has come up consistently in my life. Sometimes we as humans go through dark times, and it doesn't even have to be like with work like me. It can be with family or friends or deaths or pets. But sometimes when we go through those dark times as humans, we automatically think in our mind that it's the end of the world and everything is crumbling. But the big lesson that I've learned is it's not the end of the world. Maybe you're like a seed that's been planted, and in order for you to grow into that flower, you had to be a seed in the soil in order to bloom into lightness. That's been a consistent lesson that I've had over and over again. And the death of YouTube was meant to happen, because if it didn't, we wouldn't be sitting here, and I would not be having so many amazing things unfolding in my life as we speak. The truth is, with YouTube, I got comfortable, right? Everybody gets comfortable. You get a job, you make decent money. It might not be the money you've always wanted, but it's good enough to sustain your lifestyle, right? That's how I was. I was okay with it. It wasn't everything I ever wanted. But I thought, if this is like as far as we have to push the bar, then let it be. I'll just let this happen. YouTube had to fail in order for me to pick myself back up again and move on to the next project, and that's exactly what I did. It's so weird. Like, I'm such a firm believer in the law of attraction and The Secret, the movie The Secret. If you haven't seen it, please just take the time to watch it. I think Someone has it for free on YouTube. But the author and the woman that's narrating, she's from Australia, and she says, I had the most darkest times of my life, and I didn't know how I was going to pick myself up and keep going. And when I decided to keep going and to continue, I put out there exactly what I wanted, and slowly, one thing at a time, one door at a time starts opening up, and it led me to where I'm at now. We have Kat, we have Brittany, and we have Chanel. And although Brittany and Chanel came to me as organic as it could have been, you know, Kat came through the actual casting call, but I actually turned her down once. I told her, if you see something open, apply again. And the minute I announced on social media that I had an opening, she was like on top of it. I mean, within like 10 minutes, I got another email from Kat. My point of that is like destination, you know, like someone like Kat is so determined, and she just feels that burning desire in her gut that it's going to work and this is where she needs to be, that she goes out on a limb to write a little quick email that says, hey, saw you had an opening, you told me, you know, keep watching for it. And honestly, Kat, Brittany, and Chanel are like the sisters I've never had. We have this weird bonding where we all just get each other. There's gonna be times we're on the road filming and we get on each other's nerves. Everyone gets on each other's nerves. It is just normal to fight sometimes with siblings, with crew, with family. But it's something I've never ever connected with other people, even friends. And so if I would not have lost YouTube, I would have never gained my 3 sisters. And let me tell you something, those girls have my back. And not only my back, they have each other's back. And if I could do it all over again, if I could go back in time and I could look at YouTube Ghost Girl, Krystal, and say, you're gonna be fine. And let me tell you what's gonna happen 6 months from now. Don't cry, don't be upset. Because 6 months from now, Krystal, you're not even gonna be the same person. Of course, if that Krystal would have come to me, I would have been like, that's freaky, that scares me even more. But that's so accurate. I'm not the same person that I was January. I'm not the same person I was in February. March is technically, you know, when I announced quitting YouTube. I'm not even the same person in March. I'm not even the same person I was in July. I've had some phenomenal growth quickly, obviously, since January. It's weird because like I've tried to watch some of my old YouTube videos just to try to, I was getting inspiration, right? Like, okay, let's get inspiration, like let's channel her. And I'm trying, and I'm sitting here like I can't be that, because that's not who I am anymore. She was like so bubbly, but yet a little bit naive, and had no idea what it was like to have, you know, your world crumble. And the struggles I've been through in the last 8 months have made me so strong. Like, I'm such a strong person. Nothing phases me. I'm really tough, not in a bad way, you know. I'm a cool person to work for, but I mean tough as in, I don't know, when the world takes things from you, or the universe takes things from you and it strips you down, you rebuild learning how strong you are. And as much as I miss my subscribers, because a majority of them are still on YouTube, they will not move with me. I know in my heart that I am in the exact right place of where I'm supposed to be. And if I wouldn't have had those failures, including using YouTube, I wouldn't be the person I am right now. I wouldn't be doing this series. I wouldn't have these amazing people in my life. These girls are the sisters and the crew I've always needed, I've always wanted. So where do we go from here, right? Like, what happens? So much. Like, I wish I could scream at my YouTube subscribers and say, you guys have no idea what you're missing. Like, I understand Twitch, you know, people subscribe to my Twitch. You don't have to subscribe to my Twitch channel, but the people that do subscribe, thank you, because you're helping fund the series. People that subscribe to Patreon, thank you, because you're also helping fund the series, as you guys know. But I have had so much growth in the past 9 months, 8 months, and I really wish my subscribers could see that. I wish they would come over to see that, because I think it's been such a positive growth. They may miss the old Ghost Girl, but they haven't seen nothing yet. This series, the way we have planned it, which obviously I can't talk specifics, is going to be phenomenal. It's going to blow your mind. We will be, as far as I know, the only paranormal crew using 4K cameras, which are all of the brand new, it's basically dimensions for camera work, right? Like the normal is called 1080 HD. That's what requires of cable. Since we're going for actual streaming services, we have to use 4K. The cameras, you guys, that we are getting are gonna blow your mind. The way they look is so crisp and clear and beautiful. The drone that we're buying is amazing. It's unbelievable. The technology, because I'm such a technology nerd, you won't see anything like this out there because it doesn't exist, because all of the other ghost shows go to cable. I'm not going to cable, I'm going to streaming. So I'm gonna have all of the best, most awesome, not only obviously paragear, but film equipment that there is to buy on the market. And the drone, we found a drone, zipping my lip, not saying anything. The drone we found is amazing. It is beautiful footage. It's unbelievable, beautiful footage. I will probably do reviews for Patreon on shows, and I know Ghost Adventures new season's coming up. I will be, you know, uploading a video to Patreon once a week, probably Tuesdays or Wednesdays. This first one was so hard for me to get out because I was like trying to channel old Ghost Girl, and I'm like, you know what, I have to be honest, like they've seen the change in me. Like you guys have to have seen the change in me. So for that reason, I can't be someone I'm not anymore. And even getting this initial video out and just talking about all of this stuff and like getting all of this off my chest is like 4 million pounds of honesty, you know, and it feels so much better. I was just gonna like throw reviews up here, and you know, I might have reviews, but I also feel like I just want to keep, especially my Patreon subscribers, in the loop on like what's going on, you know, for that week. What's a recap of what we did towards the series that week, because I've been working a lot and there's a lot to share with you guys. So think of it as doing reviews sometimes. We'll throw in some reviews, but let's also just do some vlogs. And let's have you, with this series of Patreon, get to know Ghost Girl and who she is and where she started from. Whew, I feel like I'm gonna cry because I started from the bottom and now we're here. And I wish I could I wish I had a microphone that like was loud enough for like everybody all over the planet to hear and tell them, like, if I can start with a card table and like a backdrop and a tablecloth, and now I'm buying 4K camera gear, I'm gearing up to, you know, shoot a series. I wish I could just shout to people and tell them you can do anything. It just depends on how motivated you are as a person. You know, like I've been training the girls, which I'm gonna do a video on that too, the stuff that I've been helping them with. But, you know, I told them I was like 99% of success, like being an actor, or being a producer, or being a director, or famous, I don't know. 99% of it is mental. 99% of it is, do I have the willpower to get up in the morning, to do whatever it takes to make my dream? It's not about money, because in the beginning I didn't have any. It's not about how many people are supporting you, because I've had a lot of people not support me. I've had family members and friends completely turn their backs on me because they think my dreams are too big. They think what I'm doing is ridiculous. They think that I need a backup plan. You don't need anyone. You don't need anything. You just need drive from your mind. And I guarantee you can do anything you want to do. Shout out to my Twitch subscribers. Shout out to my Patreon subscribers, because obviously you guys are the only ones that are going to see this video. Please comment below. You guys are few and far in between, and I love to chat with you guys. Leave comments. We're trying to upload more often, so just be patient with us. It's a matter of getting back in the loop of, you know, having this other platform, which I love Patreon because I don't have to deal with haterade. Like the people that want to be here just want to be here, like generally want to be here. And I know we have small numbers right now, but it doesn't matter. Just knowing that I even have a few people supporting me is all that matters. That's all that matters. Once again, I started in the beginning and had no cheerleaders. And I know my subscribers are stubborn on YouTube, but someday they'll come around. And once they see the series on Netflix or Hulu or wherever we go, they're gonna be like, ah, I should have followed her. She had some drive and spirit and she was going for it. Please leave comments below and make sure you tune back for our next video upload. Hopefully I will also be having guests soon and we'll be doing other private videos. If you guys have any ideas or questions or comments or concerns that you want me to talk about in videos, please leave those comments below. And as always, signing out from Ghost Girl, I will catch you guys next time.
Eyes in the sky, gazing far into the night.